Hey there, Planet of the Apes fans, this is Wesatron. Today we're taking a look at NECA's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes Caesar action figure. These just started to hit stores and are retailing for about $18.99. I paid $18.99 at my local store. Check out the price tag. A lot of times they are saying like $21, $22, but if you scan them, they'll ring up correctly. So there may be some issues there. I think NECA said that they're still working it out, but this figure should run you about 18, 19 bucks. So very cool packaging. I normally don't get really excited about NECA's packaging because it's, we've just seen a lot of the same type of stuff, but I really like the work on this one in particular. I like kind of the industrial look down here for his name is Caesar. I like the kind of cave paint up here with like the biohazard symbol on his face, and you can see there's like a monkey skull back in there and stuff. Nothing on the sides or anything, which is good because you can actually see the entirety of the figure. So if you see any, missing parts or anything, that's always a plus for me. I hate it when they have stuff on the sides that block your view. On the bottom, we do have our credits here. Again, we've got John Wardell and Jeffrey Trapp doing their great paint job. We've seen Alex Heinke recently on some other work, so that's very cool. And packaging is once again Chris Longo. Chris, you did a great job. I really dig it. On the back, you get cross cells for the other figures, Koba and Maurice, and just kind of some more of that great artwork, and then like maybe like a splatter of blood or something like that. So very cool standard clamshell design, but I really like the packaging design. Let's get this guy out and see what he's like. So here we have Caesar out of packaging, and this guy looks really, really good. They did a great job head to toe on this guy. I mean, just sculpt and paint-wise, he is just outstanding. You can see he's just loaded with detail, paint and sculpt wise. I mean, just absolutely fantastic. One thing that I really like that they did with this figure is his hands are very pliable, like plastic, rubber-like even. So it makes it very easy to get his spear into his hands without risk of breaking the spear. In the past, they make pretty rigid weapons, which is good because it keeps them from breaking in the package, or from bending rather. But, it makes it a little difficult to put in hands, which are, also rigid plastic. But even his spare hands here, you can see they have quite a bit of flex to them. So that's very cool. I just wanted to show you guys that real quick. Now, figure itself looks really nice. We're going to open with the articulation, and it's probably going to be the weakest part of the review, just because it's a great articulated figure. It's just not quite up to modern standards. Ball jointed head is excellent. It gets a nice upward range, nice downward range. You get some good tilt in there, and of course you get your rotation and everything. Very, very nice job on the head. I really dig that. Swivel hinges in the shoulders all the way around, out about that far. Swivel hinges in the elbows, and this is one of the two major problems, is that the swivel hinge doesn't go into the elbow, it goes into the forearm. So similar to what they did with their David figure, I don't know if you remember that video, but I had a big problem with that because it means you can't rotate the arm out in any way. So basically you can give the arm a bend, which doesn't get 90 degrees because of the design, and then instead of being able to rotate out, you're only able to rotate the forearm. So you can see the forearm can rotate all the way around, but there's no cut in the biceps, there's no cut here, nothing to let it move outward. So you're kind of stuck with just a hinge elbow, which kind of stinks on figures nowadays. We're just not used to that type of articulation anymore, especially on a big ape figure. You would expect his arms to be some of his most expressive features, but you can't really do much with them outside of, standard bending. So that's a bit unfortunate, but it's actually so far with playing not bothered me as much as I thought it would, but it's still something to be aware of. We've got ball jointed wrists, and you get a very nice range of motion there. Very cool, and that makes them easily swappable with the other hands. Just pop that right back on. Where I told you it's got that like rubberized plastic, it makes it really easy to swap the hands, but they still hold in very well. We've got an excellently ball jointed torso. I really like the engineering they put into this. As you can see, he moves very far forward and very far back. So it makes it really great if you want to make him stand upright, or hunch over and then kind of look up. in a more, gorilla-ish or ape-ish type of pose, which is very cool. You also get great side-to-side. This is fantastic rocking here, and then your standard swivel as well. Now, the other drawback is the swivel hinge hips, which unfortunately are the design of like the Marvel Legends mid-series or some of the Rocky figures, where the peg goes up into the torso. Now, that's not the end of the world, but the problem is that because they try to hide the articulation so well with the hips, it's very hard to see where the actual bend is in the leg. So depending on where you rotate this, it will bend forward at a different spot. And if you bend it forward and it's not lined up correctly, you could easily snap this leg. So you have to be very careful posing the hips and make sure that you've got them in a great position to actually bend. Otherwise, you will snap them right off. Underneath that, there is a swivel, so combined those, you get a movement forward about that far, and then backwards you're blocked by the butt pack. So you don't have a ton of range in the hips, but if you work with it, you can get more than you would think. The way that these are hips, the hips are actually meant to look like this, but if you turn them this way where the ball is a little more exposed, you get a little more forward range out of them, and because the knees are swivel hinges, it won't affect posability too much. So knees are, as I said, swivel hinges. You do not get 90 degrees, but you don't get a bad range of motion. As you turn them more to the side to kind of make up for the hips, you may get less motion. You just have to kind of work with it. The hips are the biggest hindrance, I would say, even past the elbows on this figure. And we've got double ball jointed feet, so you get back movement, forward movement, and then in, out, and then of course rotation as well. So my joints here are a little bit loose. This one's not too bad. This one's a bigger offender, but it's still plenty to hold up his weight. He does a great job. Overall, the articulation isn't what I really hoped it would be, but it's certainly enough for a very well displayable figure, if not well playable figure. So here's Caesar close up, and you really get a better shot of his face and body paint, which is just outstanding. Yeah, they did a great job. I hope you can see all this amazing fur detail. We're talking kind of a brown base with maybe a lighter brown dry brush in places, or it could be a light brown base with a very heavy wash, I don't know, but the white paint has been dry brushed on top of it to give it kind of an aboriginal look. It looks really, really nice. They did a great job. The only part that may stand out a little bit is the red on the chest. And I have to say it stood out to me a lot more in package than it does in actual play. When I actually have him out and I'm messing around with him, it doesn't nearly strike me as it did through the packaging. So just be aware it's a lot more alarming through package than it is actually in use. You can see all these great little cracks on his face, all the wrinkles and everything. Very expressive. He's got a very angry look. The big ears and everything look fantastic. The hands are incredible. They also have white paint on them, but then you see the cracks on the back of them. Hopefully you can see those okay. They kind of look like a broken desert floor. Just absolutely fantastic work. Head to toe. It just looks great. All this great fur. We do have peg holes on the bottom of the feet, which is great. You can see the feet have the thumb-like protrusions out of the side, so very, very cool. He didn't come with an extra set of feet to like hang from branches or anything. That would have been kind of cool, but you know, I can understand why they didn't include that. But yeah, very, very nice work. The extra hands, as you can see right now, I've got one gripping hand and one open hand. Those are pretty much your options. You can either have a very relaxed looking hand here, or two gripping hands, or you can of course mix and match, but gripping hands are designed to hold the spear, but also if you turn them this way, they kind of give you more of a knuckle position, so if you want to hunch him over quite a bit and then have him use this, the open hand kind of, you know, it curls out too much, so you couldn't rest your weight on it, but these are much more realistic, so very, very cool there. You get a lot of posing options out of this guy. And then we have his lovely, lovely spear here. It looks like it has maybe a stone or bone head on it. And we've got leather that wraps all the way around and goes down into here and some kind of, I'm not sure what that is. It's kind of like a honeycombish design. Interesting. More leather down here and comes out to a point on the end. Very, very cool. He looks really good holding this. It's quite large. If I can pull out a little bit, you can see it's, you know, much bigger than he is. That didn't focus at all. It's much larger than he is, so it gives him a lot of presence to actually hold it in his hands, And as I said, the hands are a very soft rubber, so you just kind of bend the fingers open and it clicks right into place without any risk to the spear, which I really, really appreciate. They did a really good job. So all we have left now to talk about is value. This guy is in 7-inch scale roughly. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know if that's exactly right, but I think that's pretty right based on the last flick. You can see how he scales next to Mr. Wendrix here. I would say he looks pretty good in scale. For $19, you get a pretty well-articulated action figure with only a couple problems. You get the excellent spear, which is very large. You get 2 spare hands that you can swap out very easily. Excellent paint, excellent sculpt, just absolutely wonderful figure. You know, for 19 bucks, when you got 20 for this, about 15 for this, and about 3 for this, it seems to be about the going rate. These, if anything, are probably overpriced, but, you know, $20 for this nice figure versus 19 for this really nice figure, I would say it's pretty comparable. Still a very good buy, plus it's monkeys. Who doesn't love monkeys? And please don't give me quotes and comments about apes. We can have that discussion some other time. Or you can have the discussion now, I don't really care. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments about this figure, I do really enjoy it, and I do think you'll like it as well. Please hit me up below. I would love to know, are you interested in this movie? Are you interested in this line? Hit me up. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Thanks to subscribers and commenters. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I really enjoy to have you on board, and I hope to have a lot more NECA videos and hopefully other videos up soon. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Talk to you later.